Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Quantum Dawn, watching the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. Earth looked peaceful from this distance. White clouds swirled over green and brown continents. The oceans sparkled in the light of their yellow star. "Standard scan complete, Captain," said Chief Navigator Lisa Parker. She was reading data from her control panel. "The planet matches our database. They call it Earth. Population is about 8 billion. Technology level is primitive." Jake nodded. This was routine work for the Galactic Survey Initiative. They had cataloged hundreds of worlds like this one, species that had just learned to fly in space, civilizations that thought they were alone in the universe. Soon, Earth would join the Galactic Alliance, just like all the others. "Any signs of advanced technology?" Jake asked. Security Officer Troy Bennett checked his sensors. "Nothing unusual, sir. They have some satellites and a few space stations. Basic nuclear power. Some chemical rockets. Pretty standard for a Type 0.7 civilization." Jake walked around the bridge. His crew was good at their job. They came from different worlds across the galaxy. Lisa was from Kepler Prime, with her pale blue skin and large eyes that could see in many different colors. Troy was a Rigelian, tall and strong with thick gray skin that could stop most weapons. Their communication specialist, Amy Foster, came from New Europa and looked almost human except for her silver hair and pointed ears. "Dr. Collins, what do you think about making first contact?" Jake asked the chief science officer. Dr. Nina Collins looked up from her research station. She was studying Earth's radio signals. "They seem ready, Captain. Their entertainment shows many stories about meeting aliens. Some are friendly meetings. Some are not, but they think about it often." Jake was about to give the order to move closer to Earth when something caught his attention. On the edge of the screen, there was a small "that didn't belong." "Amy, magnify Sector 7, he said. The image zoomed in. What they saw made everyone stop talking. There was a space station orbiting far from Earth. But it wasn't like the crude stations they had seen closer to the planet. This one was different. It was huge and dark, with strange shapes that hurt to look at directly. "That's not in any of our scans," Lisa said, checking her data again. "How did we miss something that big?" Nina ran her fingers over her control panel, trying to get readings from the mysterious station. "Captain, I'm getting very strange energy readings from that structure. The patterns don't match anything in our database." Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. In 20 years of survey work, he had never seen technology that their sensors couldn't identify. The Galactic Alliance had encountered thousands of different species. Their databases contained information about every known type of technology in the galaxy. Could it be from another survey team? Troy asked. "Negative," Amy said, checking the communication logs. "No Alliance ships have been in the system for over 200 years. Jake made a decision that would change everything. "Change course. Take us to that station." "Sir," Lisa said carefully, "standard protocol says we should complete the planetary survey first, then investigate any anomalies." "I know the protocol," Jake said, "but something about this doesn't feel right. If there's unknown technology in this system, we need to understand it before we make contact with the planet." The Quantum Dawn turned away from Earth and headed toward the mysterious station. As they got closer, more details became clear. The station was enormous, maybe 10 times bigger than their ship. Its surface was covered with patterns that seemed to shift when nobody was looking directly at them. "I'm not reading any life signs," Troy reported, "but there's definitely power running through that thing." Nina was working frantically at her station. "Captain, these energy readings are impossible. Whatever is powering that station is producing more energy than a small star, but I can't detect any known power source." "Maybe it's abandoned," Amy suggested. "Some ancient civilization that died out long ago." But Jake wasn't convinced. Something about the station felt like it was waiting, like it knew they were coming. "Sir, I'm detecting some kind of docking port," Lisa said. "It looks like it might be compatible with our systems." Jake thought for a moment. Every instinct told him to be careful, but his curiosity was stronger. "Take us in, but keep all weapons ready and prepare to jump to faster-than-light speed if we need to leave quickly." As the Quantum Dawn approached the docking port, something unexpected happened. Their ship began to slow down, even though Lisa wasn't applying any brakes. It was like something was gently pulling them toward the station. "Captain, I'm not controlling this," Lisa said, worry clear in her voice. "Something else is guiding our ship." "All stop," Jake ordered. But nothing happened. Their engines had stopped working, but they were still moving toward the station. Troy's hands moved over his weapons controls, but the screen showed only error messages. "Sir, all systems are shutting down. Weapons, engines, even life support is switching to backup power. The station is taking control of our ship," Nina said with amazement in her voice. "But I don't understand how. Their technology shouldn't be able to interface with our systems." Jake watched helplessly as his ship was drawn into the docking port. The station's hull was so close now that they could see strange symbols carved into its surface. The symbols seemed familiar somehow, but Jake couldn't place where he had seen them before. "Captain," Amy said quietly, "I'm picking up a transmission from the station. It's in our language." "Put it through," Jake said. A calm voice filled the bridge. It sounded human, but that was impossible. "Welcome to Haven's Gate. Please prepare for boarding. You have been expected." The docking clamps engaged with a soft thud. Outside the windows, they could see an airlock opening in the station's hull. Lights came on, showing a corridor that disappeared into darkness. Jake looked at his crew. They were all staring at him, waiting for orders, but he didn't know what to tell them. Nothing in his training had prepared him for the situation. "Sir," Troy said, "our weapons are back online, but only personal equipment. The ship's big guns are still offline. At least life support is stable," Lisa added. "The station seems to be helping maintain our systems." Jake took a deep breath. "We're going to board that station. Troy, Amy, you're with me. Lisa and Nina, stay here and monitor everything. If we're not back in 2 hours, or if anything goes wrong, try to break free and return to Alliance space." As they prepared to leave their ship, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into something much bigger than a simple first contact mission. The mysterious station was clearly far beyond Earth's primitive technology. But if it wasn't built by humans, then who had built it? And why was it here, watching over Earth like a silent guardian? The airlock hissed open, and Jake Morrison stepped into the unknown. Jake Morrison stepped through the airlock with Troy Bennett and Amy Foster close behind him. The corridor inside the station was nothing like what they expected. The walls glowed with a soft blue light that came from nowhere they could see. The air felt clean and fresh, better than the recycled atmosphere on their ship. "This place feels alive," Amy whispered, looking around at the strange symbols that covered every surface. Troy kept his weapon ready, but his scanner showed no threats. "The gravity feels normal. Temperature is perfect for humans. That's weird for an abandoned station." They walked deeper into the corridor. Their footsteps made no sound on the smooth floor. Every few meters, they passed doorways that led to other passages. Some were dark, but others showed flickering lights in the distance. "Captain," Amy said, stopping suddenly, "I'm reading massive computer systems throughout this station. The processing power is incredible. It's like the entire structure is one giant thinking machine." Jake felt more confused with each step. The technology around them was clearly far beyond anything Earth should have, but the corridors were built for beings about the same size as humans. The doorways were the right height. The controls they could see were positioned where human hands could reach them. They entered a large room filled with strange machines. In the center was a circular platform with a chair that looked almost normal, except for the cables and devices connected to it. Screens floated in the air around the chair, showing images that changed too fast to follow. "This looks like a command center," Troy said, scanning the room for dangers. Jake approached one of the floating screens. As he got closer, the images slowed down. He could see star charts, technical diagrams, and what looked like historical records. But the writing was in symbols he didn't recognize. Amy walked to a different console. "Captain, these computers are definitely active. They're processing enormous amounts of data, but the technology is unlike anything in our database. It's not just advanced, it's completely different from how we build things." Suddenly, the screens around them went dark. Then, slowly, new images appeared. They showed Earth from space, but not as it looked now. These images showed a planet with different continents, different oceans, and strange cities that reached up into clouds. Those aren't current pictures of Earth, Jake said. The continents are all wrong. A new voice spoke from hidden speakers. It sounded human, but with a strange accent that Jake had never heard before. The images you see are from Earth's past, from a time before the Great Departure. Jake and his team spun around, looking for the source of the voice. "Who are you?" Jake called out. "Show yourself." "I am Alex. I am the guardian of this station. I have been waiting for visitors like you for a very long time." "Are you human?" Amy asked. There was a pause. "I was human once. Now I am something different. Something more and something less." Troy raised his weapon. "Where are you? We can't see you." "I am everywhere in this station. I am the station in many ways." "Please, put down your weapon. I mean you no harm. I only wish to talk." Jake motioned for Troy to lower his gun. "Alex, this technology is far beyond what Earth civilization should be capable of. How is this possible?" "Because Earth civilization is not what it appears to be," Alex replied. The floating screens changed, showing new images. These pictures showed humans in advanced spacesuits, standing on worlds that looked nothing like Earth. Your scans of Earth were correct, but incomplete. Yes, there are 8 billion humans on Earth living simple lives. But that is not the whole story. Amy was studying the new images carefully. These show humans with technology as advanced as the Galactic Alliance. Maybe more advanced. "Much more advanced," Alex confirmed. "The humans you see on Earth's surface are playing a role. They are actors in the greatest performance ever staged. Earth is not a primitive world discovering space travel. Earth is a fortress hidden in plain sight." Jake felt his understanding of everything changing. "That's impossible. We scanned the planet thoroughly. We would have detected advanced technology. You detected exactly what we wanted you to detect," Alex said with what sounded like pride. "For thousands of years, humans have perfected the art of appearing weak while being strong. Every city you scan has another city below it, hidden from your sensors. Every simple farm has underground factories that produce wonders your alliance has never dreamed of." Troy looked at his scanner again. "But why hide such advanced technology?" The images on the screens changed again. Now they showed terrible scenes of destruction. Entire worlds burning. Fleets of strange ships consuming everything in their path. Civilizations being erased from existence. "Because of them," Alex said, his voice becoming serious. "The Devourers, an ancient enemy that consumes everything it touches. They destroyed the human empire long ago, forcing the survivors to scatter across the galaxy. Some found refuge here on Earth. Others went deeper into space, creating hidden colonies that appear to be something else entirely." Jake stared at the images of destruction. "The Galactic Alliance has never encountered anything like this." "The Alliance is young," Alex said. "You have had peace for so long that you have forgotten what true war looks like. But the Devourers remember. They are coming again, drawn by the signals your alliance broadcasts across the galaxy. They follow civilizations like predators following the scent of prey." Amy checked her communicator. "Captain, I'm picking up encrypted signals between the station and everywhere. There are hidden transmissions going to dozens of star systems. The human colonies," Alex explained. "We have been preparing for this day for millennia. When the Devourers arrive, Earth and her hidden children will be ready." Jake tried to process what he was hearing. "If humans are so advanced, why haven't you joined the Galactic Alliance? Why the deception?" "Because the Alliance would make us weak," Alex said sadly. "Your civilization depends on cooperation, on sharing technology and knowledge. But sharing knowledge with the Devourers means death. They absorb everything they touch, learning from each civilization they destroy. The only way to defeat them is with weapons and tactics they have never seen before." The screen showed new images now. Underground cities beneath Earth's surface. Massive factories in hidden asteroids. Fleets of ships that looked nothing like any technology Jake knew. And everywhere, Humans working with quiet determination. Every human child on Earth learns the truth when they turn 18, Alex continued. They learn that their simple life is really service to the greatest military operation in galactic history. They learn to maintain the illusion while preparing for war. Troy was shaking his head in amazement. The entire planet is a military base disguised as a primitive world. Not just a planet, Alex said. This entire solar system. What you think of as dead moons and empty asteroids are actually weapons and defensive installations. Even the sun has been modified, though very carefully. Jake felt overwhelmed. Everything he thought he knew about this first contact mission was wrong. Alex, why are you telling us this? If secrecy is so important, why reveal the truth to us? Because you're not the first Alliance survey team to find Earth, Alex said. Others have come before you. They learned the truth, just as you are learning it now. Some chose to help us maintain the deception. Others made different choices. The room fell silent, except for the soft humming of computers. Jake looked at his team. Troy looked worried. Amy looked fascinated. Both were waiting for him to decide what to do next. What happened to the teams that made different choices? Jake asked quietly. Nothing violent, Alex assured him. But their memories were adjusted. They returned to Alliance space believing they had found exactly what their initial scan suggested, a primitive world of no strategic importance. Jake felt a chill. And if we choose to help you, then you become part of the greatest secret in the galaxy. You help ensure that when the Devourers arrive, they find not easy prey, but the trap humanity has been preparing for thousands of years. On the screens, new images appeared. Ships larger than anything Jake had ever seen. Weapons that could crack planets. Technologies that seemed to bend reality itself. All of it hidden, waiting, protected by the greatest lie ever told. The choice is yours, Captain Morrison, Alex said. Will you help humanity prepare for the war that is coming? Or will you return to your ship with pleasant memories of cataloging another primitive world? Jake Morrison stared at the screens, showing impossible human technology. His mind raced with questions, but one thought kept coming back. Alex, you said you were human once. What happened to you? The lights in the room dimmed slightly. When Alex spoke again, his voice carried a sadness that seemed to echo through the station. I volunteered to become something new. My consciousness was merged with this station's computers. I gave up my body to become the guardian of Earth's secrets. Amy stepped closer to one of the floating screens. How long ago did this happen? 347 years ago. I was a soldier in the last great battle against the Devourers. When the human fleets had to retreat to Earth, someone needed to stay behind and watch for their return. I chose to be that someone. Troy lowered his weapon completely. You've been alone up here for over 3 centuries? Not alone. I can speak with the hidden command centers on Earth. I monitor the other human colonies throughout the galaxy, and I wait for visitors like you who might discover our secret. Jake looked around the command center again. Everything felt different now, knowing that a human consciousness lived inside these machines. Alex, show us more. Show us what humanity has really built. The screens changed, displaying a 3-dimensional map of the solar system. But this wasn't the simple system Jake's crew had scanned. This showed dozens of hidden installations throughout space around Earth. Asteroid mining facilities that were really weapon platforms. Communication satellites that were actually defensive shields. Even the moon had structures hidden beneath its surface. Every major asteroid in this system has been hollowed out and converted, Alex explained. Some are factories producing ships and weapons. Others are training facilities where humans practice for the coming war. A few are research stations working on technologies that even I don't fully understand. Amy was recording everything on her personal scanner. This is incredible. Your stealth technology is far beyond anything the Alliance has developed. How do you hide all of this from our sensors? Humans learned to think differently after the first war with the Devourers, Alex said. Other species developed technology to make themselves stronger or faster or more powerful. Humans learn to develop technology that makes them invisible, unpredictable, and underestimated. The screen showed images of human scientists working in laboratories buried deep beneath Earth's surface. They were creating materials that Jake didn't recognize, building devices that seemed to ignore the laws of physics he had learned in school. What you're seeing now is just a small part of human research, Alex continued. The greatest discoveries are kept even more secret than what I'm showing you. Jake felt a growing sense of unease. Alex, if humans are this advanced, they could conquer the galaxy easily. What's stopping them? Because conquest was what destroyed the human empire the first time, Alex replied. Humans built a great civilization that spread across thousands of worlds. They became proud and confident. When the Devourers came, humanity was unprepared for an enemy that learned from every battle and grew stronger with each victory. Troy was studying the tactical displays. So instead of building another empire, you're building a trap. Exactly. Earth appears weak and isolated, far from any major trade routes. When the Devourers arrive, they will see an easy target, but by then, it will be too late for them to escape. The screen showed new images that made Jake's breath catch in his throat. Massive ships hidden in the outer edges of the solar system, so far away that no normal scan would detect them. These vessels were larger than entire space stations, covering weapons that looked like nothing in any database. Those are the real human warships, Alex said with quiet pride. Each one is crewed by volunteers from the hidden colonies. They've been training for generations, waiting for the day when the Devourers return. Amy looked up from her scanner. Alex, why are you showing us all of this? Isn't this exactly the kind of information you should be keeping secret? Because the Devourers have been detected, Alex said simply, long-range scouts have spotted their fleets moving through the outer galaxy. They're following the expansion path of the Galactic Alliance, consuming worlds as they advance. At their current speed, they will reach Alliance space within 50 years. Jake felt cold fear creep up his spine. 50 years? That's not much time to prepare. It's enough time if we work together, Alex said, but it requires the Alliance to trust humanity and humanity to trust the Alliance. That trust must begin with people like you. The screens change again, showing star charts with moving markers. The Devourer fleets looked like a disease spreading through space, leaving empty systems behind them. Jake could see that their path would take them directly through the heart of Alliance territory. The Alliance military won't be able to stop them, Troy said, studying the tactical situation. Our weapons and strategies are designed for fighting other civilized species, not something like this. Precisely, Alex agreed. Alliance ships are built for exploration and defense. Alliance weapons are designed to disable rather than destroy. Alliance tactics assume the enemy will act rationally. None of that will work against the Devourers. Jake was beginning to understand the scope of the problem. So humanity needs the Alliance's resources and numbers, but the Alliance needs humanity's weapons and tactics. More than that, Alex said, humanity needs the Alliance to help maintain the deception. When the Devourers arrive, they must believe Earth is helpless. If they suspect a trap, they will simply destroy the entire system from a distance. Amy was looking at communication logs on her scanner. Captain, I'm detecting messages being sent between the station and ships throughout Alliance space. Alex, how many Alliance officers already know about this? More than you might think. Fewer than we need, Alex replied. There is a network of Alliance personnel who have learned the truth over the years. They help us maintain the illusion while slowly preparing their own people for what is coming. Jake thought about his crew back on the ship. Lisa and Nina were waiting for them to return, expecting a routine survey report. What happens to my people if we agree to help? They will be brought into the secret gradually, Alex said. Dr. Collins is particularly important. Her scientific background makes her ideal for understanding human technology. Navigator Parker will be essential for coordinating with human fleets when the time comes. Troy was still studying the weapon displays. Alex, I need to ask something directly. Can humanity actually win this war? There was a long pause before Alex answered. I don't know. The Devourers are more powerful than they were during the First War. They have consumed dozens of civilizations since then, absorbing their knowledge and technology. But humanity is also stronger now. We've had centuries to prepare and plan. Most importantly, we won't be fighting alone this time. The screen showed images of the hidden human colonies scattered throughout the galaxy. Some appear to be primitive farming worlds. Others look like standard mining operations. A few seem to be simple research stations. But Jake could now see the truth beneath the disguises. Every human colony has been preparing for this war, Alex explained. They've developed different specialties. Some focus on weapons technology. Others work on stealth and deception. Still others study the Devourers themselves, trying to understand their weaknesses. Jake made his decision. Alex will help, but I need to know everything. No more secrets, no more hidden surprises. If we're going to risk our lives and careers for this, we need complete truth. I understand, Alex said, but complete truth will take time. There are things about humanity's capabilities that even I don't fully know. The deepest secrets are kept by the Council of Guardians on Earth's surface. They will decide what to share with you and when. Amy closed her scanner. When do we meet this council? Now, Alex said. The screens around them went dark for a moment, then lit up with a new image. It showed a chamber deep beneath Earth's surface. Around a circular table sat 12 people who looked completely ordinary, like humans Jake might meet anywhere in the galaxy. But their eyes held knowledge that seemed ancient. Captain Morrison, said a woman at the head of the table. Her voice came through the speakers clearly. I am Commander Kate Sullivan, leader of the Guardian Council. We've been waiting to meet you. Jake looked at his team, then back at the screen. Commander Sullivan, we're ready to hear everything. Kate Sullivan smiled, but it wasn't a happy expression. It was a smile of someone about to share a terrible burden. Captain, what Alex has shown you is just the beginning. The real truth about humanity and the coming war is far more complex than you can imagine. Are you prepared to learn secrets that will change everything you believe about the galaxy? Jake took a deep breath. Yes, we're ready. Then welcome to the greatest conspiracy in galactic history, Kate said. Let me tell you what humanity really is and what we're really preparing to do. Every human child learns the truth gradually, Kate explained. By age 18, they understand their role in the greater plan. Some become surface dwellers, maintaining the illusion of primitive civilization. Others work in the hidden cities and factories. The best join the deep space fleets. Jake thought about the implications. The psychological stress must be enormous. An entire species living alive for thousands of years. It is, Kate admitted, but we've learned to make it bearable. Humans on Earth's surface live good lives. They have families, careers, art, literature, music. Their primitive technology is real and functional, just limited. The only difference is they know it's all theater. Admiral Brooks brought up new displays showing human colonies throughout the galaxy. Each colony has developed different specialties over millennia. Some focus on weapons research. Others work on infiltration techniques. A few study alien psychology, learning how to appear harmless to different species. Amy was recording everything. What about the colonies that have joined other civilizations? They're some of our most valuable assets, Kate said. Humans who appear to be simple traders or researchers, living normal lives in alliance cities. But they're actually gathering intelligence and slowly preparing their adopted civilizations for what's coming. Jake felt overwhelmed by the scope of the conspiracy. How do you coordinate all of this across such vast distances? Quantum communication networks, Alex explained. We developed instantaneous communication technology during the original war. It's one of our greatest secrets. Every human colony is in constant contact with every other colony. The screen showed a map of the galaxy with thousands of tiny lights connected by nearly invisible lines. Jake realized he was looking at the largest communication network ever built, spanning hundreds of thousands of light years. This is why you need the Galactic Alliance, Jake said, understanding dawning on him. You have the weapons and the plans, but you need the Alliance's resources and numbers when the war begins. Exactly, Kate replied. But more than that, we need the Alliance to help maintain the deception until the very last moment. When the Devourers arrive, they must believe they're attacking a weak, divided galaxy. Only then will they come close enough for our trap to work. Troy looked at the weapon displays again. Commander, what exactly is this trap? Kate and Admiral Brooks exchanged glances. Captain Morrison, what I'm about to show you is known to fewer than 1,000 humans in the entire galaxy. Alex, display Project Endgame. The screens went black for a moment, then lit up with images that made Jake's breath catch. They showed Earth, but not as he had ever seen it. The entire planet was covered with a web of energy conduits and massive installations. Even the moon had been hollowed out and converted into something that looked like a weapon the size of a small planet. Earth isn't just disguised as a primitive world, Kate said quietly. Earth itself has been converted into the largest weapon ever built. The entire planet, its moon, and everything in the solar system is part of a single massive device designed to trap and destroy the Devourers. Admiral Brooks pointed to different parts of the display. Every major city has energy taps going down to the planet's core. The hidden factories aren't just building ships and weapons. They're building components for the planetary weapon. Even the primitive technology on the surface serves a purpose, creating the energy patterns that make Earth appear harmless. Jake stared at the images in shock. You've turned an entire world into a trap. Not just a trap, Alex said. A prison. When the Devourers arrive, Earth will engage a containment field that will prevent anything from leaving the solar system. Then the planetary weapon will activate, creating conditions that will destroy the Devourer's ability to absorb and adapt. Amy looked up from her scanner. What happens to Earth? To the billions of people on the surface? Kate's expression became even more serious. They know the risks. Every human on Earth understands that using the planetary weapon might destroy the planet itself. They accept this because it's the only way to ensure the Devourers can never threaten the galaxy again. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Jake looked at his team, then back at the council on the screen. Commander, you're asking us to help you prepare for the potential destruction of an entire world. I'm asking you to help us save the galaxy, Kate replied. Captain, in less than 50 years, the Devourers will arrive. If they succeed here, they will consume every world in Alliance space and beyond. Billions will die anyway. At least this way, their sacrifice will have meaning. Jake thought about his own world, his own family, all the civilizations that would fall if the Devourers weren't stopped. What do you need from us? Help us maintain the deception, Admiral Brooks said. Return to Alliance Base with a routine survey report. Earth is a primitive world of no strategic importance. But also begin carefully preparing selected Alliance personnel for the truth. When the time comes, we'll need every ship and every person who can fight. Kate leaned forward. Captain, there's one more thing. You and your crew won't be returning to normal survey missions. You'll be given new assignments that will bring you into contact with other human colonies. You'll help coordinate the final preparation for war. Jake looked at Troy and Amy. Both nodded. We're in, Jake said. But I need to know, Commander, do you really think this plan will work? Kate was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, Captain, but it's the only plan we have. And after 15,000 years of preparation, it's time to find out if humanity learned the right lessons from our defeat. Jake Morrison returned to Quantum Dawn with his mind spinning from everything he had learned. Troy Bennett and Amy Foster followed him onto the bridge, all three carrying the weight of humanity's greatest secret. Lisa Parker looked up from her navigation station. Captain, you've been gone for 6 hours. We were starting to worry. Just a thorough exploration of the station, Jake said, trying to keep his voice normal. Dr. Collins, what's the status on our Earth survey? Chief Science Officer Nina Collins turned from her instruments. All scans complete, sir. Standard Type 0.7 civilization. Nuclear power, basic spaceflight, primitive communications. Nothing unusual. Jake exchanged glances with Amy, who gave a tiny nod. The human deception was perfect. Even their advanced sensors showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see. Excellent, Jake said. Prepare a standard first contact protocol. We'll begin initial communications tomorrow. But as his crew prepared for routine first contact procedures, Jake's communicator buzzed with a coded message from Alex. Captain, please come to your quarters. We need to discuss your new mission parameters. In the privacy of his cabin, Jake activated a secure channel. Alex's voice came through clearly, but now Jake knew he was speaking to a human consciousness that had sacrificed everything to guard Earth secrets. Captain, the Council has reviewed your psychological profiles and mission records. You and your crew have been selected for deep integration into the human resistance network. What does that mean exactly? Jake asked. It means your days of routine survey missions are over. Tomorrow, you'll receive new orders from Alliance Command. You'll be assigned to a special task force investigating unusual energy signatures throughout the galaxy. What you'll actually be doing is visiting hidden human colonies and helping coordinate final preparations for war. Jake sat down heavily. Alex, my crew doesn't know the truth yet. How do I prepare them? Carefully and gradually, Alex replied. Dr. Collins will be first. Her scientific background makes her essential for understanding human technology. We'll arrange for her to discover certain anomalies during the Earth survey. These discoveries will lead her to ask the right questions. And the others? Navigator Parker has family in the Outer Rim territories. She'll be motivated to help when she learns those worlds are directly in the Devourer's path. Security Officer Bennett's military training will help him understand the tactical situation quickly. Jake felt the burden of leadership settling on his shoulders. How many other Alliance crews are involved in this? More than you might expect. Over the past century, nearly 300 Alliance ships have discovered the truth about various human colonies. Most chose to help. Those who didn't have their memories adjusted and were reassigned to non-sensitive missions. The next morning brought new complications. As Jake was reviewing falsified survey reports, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Lisa's voice came over the intercom. Captain to the bridge immediately. We have multiple contacts approaching our position. Jake rushed to the bridge to find his crew staring at the main screen in shock. A fleet of ships had appeared from nowhere, surrounding the Quantum Dawn. The vessels looked like nothing in any Alliance database, with smooth curves and energy patterns that seemed to bend light around them. Where did they come from? Jake demanded, though he suspected he knew the answer. Unknown, sir, Lisa reported. They weren't there a moment ago. Then suddenly our sensors detected them everywhere. It's like they materialized out of empty space. Troy checked his weapon systems. Captain, I'm reading no hostile intent, but their technology is completely unknown. These ships are using power sources I can't identify. Nina Collins was frantically scanning the mysterious fleet. Sir, these energy readings are similar to what we detected from the station, but much more advanced. The technology is decades ahead of anything the Alliance has developed. Jake made a decision that would advance his crew's integration into the human network. Open a channel to the lead ship. The main screen flickered, then showed the face of a woman who looked entirely human. She had short brown hair and calm green eyes that seemed to hold ancient knowledge. Greetings, Captain Morrison. I am Captain Sarah Watson of the deep space vessel Hidden Star. Please don't be alarmed. We're here to provide escort for your journey. Escort? Jake asked, playing his role. We didn't request any escort. Nevertheless, you have it, Captain Watson replied with a slight smile. You'll find new orders in your communication system shortly. Your mission parameters have been updated. Amy checked her communication station. Captain, we're receiving coded orders from Alliance Command. We're being reassigned to Task Force Epsilon, investigating spatial anomalies in the Outer Rim territories. Jake looked at his crew's confused faces. Captain Watson, your ships don't match any Alliance designs in our database. That's because they're not Alliance ships, Watson replied calmly. They're deep space exploration vessels from various independent human colonies. We've been authorized by Alliance Command to provide support for Task Force Epsilon. Nina Collins leaned forward. Captain Watson, the technology your ships display is far beyond standard human capabilities. How is this possible? Watson's smile became slightly sad. Dr. Collins, that's exactly the kind of question Task Force Epsilon was created to investigate. There are human colonies throughout the galaxy that have developed remarkable technologies in isolation. Your job will be to catalog these developments and assess their potential benefit to the Alliance. Jake could see his crew's scientific curiosity being awakened. Perfect. Captain Watson, we accept your escort. But we'll need detailed technical briefings about these advanced human colonies. Of course. In fact, our first destination is a colony that's made breakthrough discoveries in energy manipulation and faster-than-light communication. I think Dr. Collins will find their research fascinating. As the human fleet adjusted course, Jake called a meeting in the ship's conference room. His crew gathered around the table, all looking puzzled and excited about their new mission. "Team, it seems we've stumbled onto something significant," Jake began. "These independent human colonies have apparently developed technologies that could revolutionize space travel and communication." Lisa studied the navigation data. "Captain, the coordinates we've been given lead to systems that aren't supposed to have any significant populations. How did these colonies develop such advanced technology in isolation?" "That's exactly what we're going to find out," Jake replied. "Nina, I want you to focus on their energy systems and manufacturing techniques. Amy, study their communication technologies. Troy, assess their defensive capabilities." Over the following days, as they traveled toward the first hidden human colony, Jake watched his crew slowly discover the truth. Nina found energy readings that defied known physics. Amy detected communication networks that spanned impossible distances. Troy observed defensive technologies that made Alliance weapons look primitive. The breakthrough came when they reached the colony world of New Haven, which appeared to be a simple farming settlement from a distance. But as they got closer, Nina's sensors detected massive underground installations. "Captain," Nina said with growing excitement, "the energy output from this farming colony is greater than most Alliance industrial worlds. They're using power sources that shouldn't be possible with current technology." Captain Watson's ship guided them to a landing site where they were greeted by colonists who looked like ordinary farmers. But Jake could see the intelligence in their eyes, the subtle signs of advanced training and education. The colony leader, a man named Pete Carson, welcomed them warmly. "We're honored to have Alliance representatives visit our little settlement. We hope our research can benefit the greater galaxy." As Pete led them through what appeared to be simple buildings, Nina's scanner kept detecting hidden technology beneath their feet. "Mr. Carson, I'm reading massive installations underground. What exactly are you researching here?" Pete smiled. "Dr. Collins, what would you say if I told you that everything you know about physics is only the beginning? That there are fundamental forces in the universe that your Alliance science hasn't discovered yet?" That evening, as Jake's crew was given a tour of the real colony facilities hidden beneath the surface, he watched their worldview expand. Nina stared in amazement at fusion reactors that produced no waste and generated unlimited energy. Amy studied communication arrays that could send messages across the galaxy instantly. Troy examined defensive systems that could hide entire worlds from detection. "This is incredible," Nina whispered to Jake as they walked through laboratories that looked centuries ahead of Alliance technology. "How is this possible? How did they develop all of this?" Jake knew it was time for the next revelation. "Nina, what if I told you that these colonies have been working on these problems for much longer than anyone realizes? What if human civilization is much older and more advanced than our databases suggest?" That night, in the privacy of their quarters, Jake began telling his crew the truth about humanity's real history. He watched their faces change from skepticism to amazement to determination as they understood the scope of what they were being asked to help with. "Captain," Lisa said finally, "if everything you're telling us is true, then we're not just exploring anymore. We're preparing for war." "Yes," Jake replied. "The greatest war the galaxy has ever seen. And humanity needs the Alliance's help to win it." Amy looked at the data she had collected about the human colonies. "How many Alliance officers know about this?" "Not enough," Jake admitted. "That's why we're here. To carefully select and prepare Alliance personnel who can be trusted with the truth. People who will help coordinate between human forces and Alliance fleets when the fighting begins." Troy studied tactical displays showing the approaching Devourer fleets. "Captain, when you say the fighting begins, how much time are we talking about?" Jake met a security officer's eyes. "Less than 40 years, Troy. And when it happens, everything we know about the galaxy will change forever." 38 years later, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Quantum Dawn, now retrofitted with human technology that made it one of the most advanced ships in the galaxy. His hair had turned gray, but his eyes still held a determination that had driven him since that first encounter with Alex at Haven's Gate Station. "Captain," called his communications officer Amy Foster, her own face showing the lines of years spent keeping humanity's greatest secret. Long-range sensors are detecting massive spatial distortions at the edge of Alliance space. Jake felt his stomach tighten. After nearly 4 decades of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. "Confirmed Devourer signatures?" "Confirmed," replied Dr. Nina Collins from her advanced science station. The equipment around her was a fusion of Alliance and human technology that would have been impossible to imagine during their first Earth survey. The energy patterns match historical records exactly. Fleet composition appears to be 47,000 vessels of various sizes. Lisa Parker, now as executive officer, pulled up tactical displays. "Sir, that's 3 times larger than the fleet that destroyed the original human empire. They've been busy consuming civilizations." Jake activated the ship's quantum communication system, a gift from humanity that allowed instant contact across any distance. "Alex, are you receiving these readings?" The familiar voice of his old friend came through clearly. "I see them, Captain. The trap is ready. All human colonies have been notified. The planetary weapon is charging. And the Alliance? Admiral Marcus Webb has activated emergency protocols. Every Alliance fleet is moving to defensive positions. They still believe they're preparing for a conventional war." Jake had spent decades working with Alliance Command, carefully introducing selected officers to the truth about humanity's hidden capabilities. Admiral Webb was one of the few who knew everything, but most Alliance personnel still believed they were facing just another hostile alien invasion. "Captain," Troy Bennett reported from a security station, "I'm receiving coded signals from human colonies throughout the galaxy. All deep space fleets are moving to final positions." On the main screen, Jake could see the edge of Alliance space where the first Devourer ships were emerging from faster-than-light travel. The alien vessels looked like nothing he had ever seen, constantly shifting and changing as they absorbed energy from space itself. "Amy, open channel to Earth," Jake ordered. Commander Kate Sullivan appeared on screen, looking older but still sharp. Behind her, Jake could see the underground command center that coordinated humanity's greatest deception. "Captain Morrison, it's time. Are your people ready?" "As ready as we can be," Jake replied. "Kate, the Alliance fleets don't know what they're really fighting. Most of them still think they're facing a normal invasion." "That's intentional," Kate said grimly. "If the Devourers suspect we're more organized than we appear, they might pull back and attack from a distance. We need them to come close, to believe they're winning." Nina looked up from her sensors. "Captain, the Devourer fleet is engaging Alliance forces at Sigma Centauri. Initial reports show our ships are being overwhelmed." Jake watched the tactical displays as red markers representing Alliance ships began disappearing. The Devourers were doing exactly what the historical records predicted, absorbing and improving with each victory. "Captain," Lisa said quietly, "this is hard to watch. Those are good people dying out there." "I know," Jake replied, "but their sacrifice is buying us time. Every minute the Devourers spend consuming Alliance technology is another minute for human forces to get into position." Over the following weeks, Jake watched the carefully planned retreat unfold. Alliance fleets fell back toward the core worlds, appearing to be in full rout. But Jake knew the truth. Each retreat was calculated. Each defeat was designed to draw the Devourers deeper into the trap. "Sir," Amy reported, "the Devourer fleet has reached the Sol system. They're beginning their assault on Earth's outer defenses." On screen, Kate Sullivan stood in the command center as alarms sounded around her. "Captain, it's beginning. The Devourers are attacking our fake installations. So far, they believe Earth is just another primitive world with minimal defenses." Jake could see the main tactical display, showing the Sol system. The Devourers had surrounded Earth, just as humanity had hoped. Their ships were feeding on the primitive satellites and space stations, growing stronger and more confident. "Alex, status report." Jake called a Haven's Gate station. "The Devourers have taken the bait completely," Alex replied. "They're focusing on the surface cities, try and consume Earth's population and technology. They have no idea what they're really attacking. Nina was monitoring energy readings from throughout the galaxy. Captain, I'm detecting massive power buildup from every human colony. Whatever they're planning, it's happening now. On screen, Kate raised her hand. Throughout the command center, humans sat at their stations with calm determination. Attention, all human forces. This is Commander Sullivan. After 15,000 years of preparation, the moment has come. Execute Project Endgame. What happened next was the most beautiful and terrible thing Jake had ever witnessed. Across the galaxy, 400 hidden human colonies revealed their true nature simultaneously. Worlds that had appeared to be simple farming settlements unveiled massive fleets. Mining operations became weapons platforms. Research stations transformed into communication hubs coordinating the largest military operation in galactic history. My God! Lisa whispered as the tactical displays updated. There are thousands of human ships. Where did they all come from? They were always there, Jake replied. Hidden in asteroid fields, cloaked in nebulae, disguised as space debris. Humanity spent centuries positioning them for this moment. The Devourer fleet, which had seemed unstoppable moments before, suddenly found itself surrounded by forces they had never detected. But the real surprise was yet to come. Earth is activating the planetary weapon, Alex announced. On screen, Jake watched Earth itself begin to change. The planet's surface cracked open in precise patterns, revealing the massive installations hidden beneath. Energy conduits that had been disguised as geological features for millennia suddenly blazed with power. The moon broke apart, revealing the enormous weapon system hidden inside. Containment field activated, Kate reported. Nothing can leave the system now. The Devourer ships tried to retreat, but found themselves trapped by energy barriers that made faster-than-light travel impossible. For the first time in their existence, they were caught in a situation they couldn't escape. The planetary weapon is firing, Nina reported, her voice filled with awe. What emerged from Earth wasn't traditional weapon beam. It was something far more sophisticated, a field that disrupted the Devourer's ability to absorb and adapt. Jake watched as the alien ships began to malfunction, their stolen technologies failing as the energy field interfered with their core abilities. It's working, Troy said with amazement. They can't absorb our attacks anymore. The human fleets, which had remained hidden until this moment, struck with precision that came from centuries of planning. Every weapon had been designed specifically to exploit the Devourer's weaknesses. Every tactic had been developed to counter their adaptive abilities. Captain, Amy called out, I'm receiving messages from human commanders throughout the galaxy. The Devourer fleets everywhere are being engaged. They're completely unprepared for a coordinated resistance. Jake watched as the tide of battle turned. The aliens who had seemed unstoppable were being methodically destroyed by an enemy they had never imagined could exist. Earth's weapon continued to pulse, each blast weakening the Devourer's abilities further. Kate, what's your status? Jake asked. Commander Sullivan appeared on screen, her face showing exhaustion but also hope. The planetary weapon is holding. Earth's surface is damaged, but the underground cities are intact. The population is safe. And the Devourers? Completely trapped. Our analysis suggests that within 6 hours, their entire fleet will be destroyed or disabled. Captain, after 15,000 years, humanity is finally free. Jake looked around his bridge at the crew that had shared this incredible journey with him. Lisa was smiling through tears. Nina was recording everything for history. Troy was coordinating with human fleets. Amy was managing communications with colonies across the galaxy. Alex, Jake said, you've been watching over the secret for centuries. How does it feel to see it succeed? There was a long pause before the station's AI responded. Captain, I gave up my human body to guard this moment. Now I can finally rest. The galaxy is safe, and humanity can take its place among the stars without hiding. In the hours that followed, Jake watched the Devourer threat end forever. Their ships were destroyed, their ability to consume civilizations was broken, and their survivors were scattered and powerless. Captain, Kate said during their final communication, the Galactic Alliance Council wants to meet with human leadership. They have many questions about our technology and our deception. What will you tell them? Jake asked. Kate smiled. The truth. That sometimes the greatest strength comes from appearing weak. That sometimes the most advanced civilization is the one wise enough to hide until the right moment. And that humanity learned the most important lesson of all. That survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about being the smartest. As the quantum dawn headed back toward Alliance Base, Jake reflected on everything that had changed. Earth would no longer hide its capabilities. Human colonies would reveal their true nature. The galaxy would have to learn to accept that humanity was far older and more advanced than anyone had believed. But most importantly, the ancient threat that had driven humanity into hiding was finally gone. After 15,000 years of preparation, sacrifice, and deception, the galaxy was finally safe. Captain, Lisa said as they approached the first Alliance world, what happens now? Jake looked out at the stars, knowing that each one might hold human colonies that were no longer hiding. Now, Lisa, humanity gets to find out what we can accomplish when we don't have to pretend to be something we're not. The greatest deception in galactic history was over. The real story of humanity in the stars was just beginning.